Hello and welcome to Marketing Storytime with Momo. I am Momo, so welcome. It's so good to have you here. If this is your first time here, welcome on board. And if you're a returning viewer, two thumbs up to you. Thank you so much for stopping by and coming back. So, welcome. I am Momo. I am the founder and principal consultant of Momo's Marketing Consulting. It's a strategic marketing firm that helps your business to grow and to generate more revenue. So, welcome. It's so good to have you here. But like I always say, let's pause. Let's pause. Now, hit the subscribe button below. Okay? It takes just a second. Hit the subscribe button, please. Let's grow the Momo gang, the Momo team, the Momo group, the Momo squad. Let's grow it together. Okay? So, welcome on board and thank you so much for stopping by. Like I always say before we start any episode, I always tell you to grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, or in my case, I'm grabbing some water today, or whatever you're comfortable drinking. So let's sit down and have this, you know, discussion today, okay? So, welcome. I know you've seen the topic. Today we are going to talk about condoms. I kid you. Well, it's a condom brand, Durex. We're going to talk about Durex, but it's not about condom in any way. We're going to talk about their marketing needs. I always tell you people that marketing is not very interesting, but today I said let's talk about Durex, about condoms, about how, they've created bold and impactful marketing and branding messages. So that's what we're going to do today. So welcome, sit back, relax. Let's have a quick chit chat, okay? So today we're talking about Durex, their marketing campaign. Yes, that marketing campaign. You've seen it. And what did the marketing campaign say? It said to all those who use our competitors' products, Happy Father's Day. To all those who use our competitors' products, Happy Father's Day. The first thing I will say about that is some bold, very bold move. However, saying that is one thing. The other thing I will point out is that can have a positive effect or a negative effect. Before we go further, I just want everyone to know that the opinions here that I'm going to share today are mine and mine only. Okay? And it's in no way to be controversial or to start any unnecessary, any unnecessary drama. Okay? So we're going to talk about Durex and their bold marketing move. I have always believed marketing should be somewhat bold. However, in being bold, you have to be sure of your product or your service. Your Bible will say, Mule, for what soya? I can use my hand to bang my chest and to stand by what I'm saying. So that is what Durex did. They use their hand to beat their chests and say, to all those who use our competitors' products, Happy Father's Day. What Durex is saying is that their own product does not default, right? That's what they're saying. That's the long and short. However, let's look at the other side. I always like to look at two sides of, to the coin. There's always two sides to the coin. The first thing I will say is that in putting out an advert like that, people can look at it like, some people might look at it and say, well, I don't want that product because I want it to actually fail. Some people want it to fail. Some people don't want. So if you are banging your chest and saying that you are very sure of your product, you are also passing the message that in being sure of your product, there's a chance that it can, some people, a group of people, because when you're doing marketing, you always want to look at the two sides. There's a small group of people that might want it to fail, and they'll say, no, I'm not going to use Durex. Then there's another group of people that will say, okay, since I know Durex is 100%, let me stick with Durex, right? So that's what we're seeing here. Marketing should be bold. You should be sure of your product or your service at all times. And you should be able to say, I am 100%, certain that I can put my money where my mouth is, which is what Durex has done. Marketing is allowed to be bold. However, in being bold, you have to be sure, like I said earlier. Also, they used a little humor. I'm sure people saw it and were laughing. At first, you laugh. You'll be like, this is interesting, conversation and everything. It's funny. It's interesting. It's memorable. It's, it reinforces the brand's identity. I always tell you that the first thing you always want to say to do in marketing, in creating campaigns, is does it align with our brand? Does it match our brand strategy, our marketing strategy, our company strategy? So if it does, then go ahead by all means to, to put that campaign out. But there are some times that you put campaigns out that it doesn't align with your brand strategy. In this situation, I think it aligns with Durex's brand strategy, and that's exactly what they've done. Um, like I said, some customers found it humorous, and while others viewed it differently. So it just depends on what side of the aisle you're in. Comment below, tell me what you think of the adverts. Did it catch your attention? Did you find it funny, or did you find it a bit offensive or too bold, or did it go to the extreme? Let me know in the comments below. Um, I just want you to know that in whatever campaign you're putting together, always, if it's going to be bold, make sure that you can back it, you can substantiate the claim that you're putting out there. You don't want to put false adverts out there. We talked about this last week. Trust. Trust is something you earn. You have to earn it. So you earn the trust. People use your products and they can't back it up. Honestly, that's a negative effect on your brand. So you always want to be sure that when you're pointing fingers, Yoruba people say, or people would generally say, not just Yoruba people will say, if you're pointing one finger, look at where the other fingers are pointing to. They're pointing to you. They're pointing back at you rather. So you want to be sure that in creating campaigns, bold campaigns, you can substantiate the fact that you're putting out there. It's very critical. Also, I just want people to know that you have to be very creative. So this was direct but indirect at the same time. So they were creative with words. They did a word play, you know, which is sometimes very efficient if your target audience, the people you're targeting, can understand what you're doing or what you're saying. So you always want to ensure that you are putting your target audience into perspective. So what am I trying to say? Marketing can be bold. Yes, it should be bold because you should be confident, and like I said, you should be able to hit your chest and say, yes, I back this, I can substantiate the facts I'm putting out and everything. However, I also want you to know that in doing that, there's always a small group of people, and that is just life, that will not appreciate what you're putting out there. And you should be ready for that, for the coin on the other side. So, that being said, I just want you to know marketing should be bold, but in being bold, be certain that your product and your service will always meet up to to the task that you're putting it out there to do. Okay, now I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that bold marketing can go a long, long, long way as long as you can substantiate the fact that you're putting out there. Okay? As long as you can substantiate the facts that you're putting out there. All right. So thank you. Until next time. Before we go, don't forget to subscribe below and leave your comments and share it with everyone that needs to be shared with. Also, catch up on all my other videos. Okay. Thank you and have a lovely time. God bless you. Bye.